Hi, I'm Lindsay Holloway here at the Embry Group at Crew Realty. And a couple things have come up recently about normal maintenance on a home, or whether it's a repair that we should ask to be done, or if it's actually an upgrade. This is helpful for sellers too when trying to price out your home. So when using the Alabama Finance Sales Contract, there's actually already a section 4A, in there that covers what should be considered when turning over a home in normal working condition. Those things cover appliances, heating and cooling, gas, plumbing, and those sort of things. So let's go over some normal maintenance that sellers should be taking care of, or anybody should be taking care of when maintaining your home. Things like changing the filters regularly, making sure that your roof is not at the end of its lifespan, appliances, and those sort of things. Anything in the home that helps you live normally, right? Those things need to be looked at on a quarterly or annually basis. All right, let's jump into what would be considered an upgrade. All the fun, shiny, pretty things, right? So a lot of times we walk in and I'll be showing a home and there are several different floors within that same home. As long as they're working normally, right? Not peeling up, not a hazard, not a safety concern. You could update the floors to all match, and that would be considered a fantastic upgrade. Or perhaps countertops. We're all loving the new marble and the eccentric countertops that are going up through the backsplash now. Fantastic upgrades, but it's not something that is considered normal. It's extra. Repairs. We here at Embry Group suggest getting a home inspection on every home, depending on the case, but most of the time we ask you to get a home inspection. So when talking about repairs, we want to make sure that the maintenance has been done to keep things up to par, but maybe they're not, and maybe they need to be serviced or added to or taken away. So some common home maintenance or upgrades that I see a lot as a realtor that kind of get muddied and misconstrued a little bit. One of the most common is roof repair or roof replacement. Now, a lot of the times it will pop up on an inspection that the roof is at the end of its lifespan. That would be something that we would have to negotiate or talk about between seller and buyer. Another thing I see often is HVAC. Now, if it is towards the end of its lifespan or it's not been maintained, things like faulty electrical connections that were deteriorated on the outside of the home, that needs to be addressed. Refrigerant leaks, that needs to be addressed. All of those things are qualifiable repair requests, right? An upgrade, on the other hand, would be adding zoning or increasing system capacity. If the home is being cooled and heated normally, those are kind of extras and not necessarily something we need to ask to be repaired. Something else is electrical systems. Again, codes change all the time, and those are typically flagged during a home inspection. However, exposed wiring or improperly installed components, outlets, and those sort of things need to be addressed because those can all be electrical hazards and maybe even result in a fire. So that's definitely something we want to pay attention to. However, we're not looking at lighting or a screw missing or installing smart electrical home gadgets and gadgets. Those sort of things are upgrades, and they're awesome, and I love them, and my husband would probably try to talk me into those things. However, that's not impeding on your normal way of living. It's great, but it's not normal. Another big one is plumbing. Oftentimes, this is flagged and pops up on inspection reports. Anything with water is a big no-no and a red flag. So that's all going to be talked about and negotiated. Now, what would be a plumbing upgrade? Designer fixtures, installing whole home water filtration systems. If the water filtration system is inspected and not working properly, it's still not considered a normal function of the home, right? It's an addition, it's great, but it's not necessary. All right, last one for today. I could go all day, but this is crawl space and moisture. And like I mentioned earlier, a lot of the times we will see in older homes where they have added insulation under the home, that can create a moisture issue. Or if it's a crawl space and not a slab, maybe, water's been sitting for too long. Again, anything with water is a big no-no. Now, when it comes to, moisture or crawl space issues under the home, honestly, I don't see a ton of upgrades here because typically you'll get 1 or 2 quotes, and the professionals, at least in our area, really don't try to oversell those types of things. We just remediate it and hopefully keep moving, but there's not a lot that you can upgrade in that area. At the end of the day, the difference between maintenance, repairs, and upgrade really comes down to the purpose of the work. So if the work is necessary to maintain the proper function of the home and it addresses safety concerns, then that's something we're probably going to talk about in repair negotiations and are important. However, all the bells and whistles outside of that are just perks, really, and they're probably not going to be addressed. Great for you, but we're going to let those be. The best repair negotiations are based on facts, documentation, getting a professional, a licensed insured professional to give their opinion on the work and the condition and lifespan of the components of the home that we are looking at. Now, please stay tuned because as we go further into it, us at Embry Group and Crew Realty would love to give you more information on the best bang for your buck and what you can do to upgrade your home, but also see that money in return.